YouTube, it's Angela with Grounded Dreamers. I'm here to do a quick energy update. I know it's been like a week since I posted, and I'm sorry I didn't get anything posted sooner, but I think I'm through the worst, or I should be through the worst of busy season. My day job is as a bookkeeper, and obviously this is tax season in the US, and it's been kind of intense this year. So I think I'm past the hump, and here we are again. I really intended to do full-scale readings for each sign for April, but it looks like I'm going to have to do like a mid-month thing there. But for now, we're going to do just a quick energy update for a general reading for all of us. I've pulled some oracles, and then I'm going to do a Zen spread, a sort of a progressive spread to get from one point to the next. And so the oracles that I pulled are interesting. It feels that this is a time for some of us, a time of transition, of real transition, like really leaving some things behind and having a defining line to welcome in new. This may not be the case for everyone. It could be less of a stark division line for some of us. It might be more of a easygoing transition, but for some of us, there's a clear sort of dividing line between old ways and what's to come at this point. I'm not really keeping up with what's going on in the sky. So astrologically, maybe some of you can fill me in. Maybe that's happening now, but regardless, whenever you come upon this video, that's when the energy's right for you. When you're drawn to listen to it, you know, that's when the message is clear for you. So what's going on in the sky may not be as important as you're intuitively being drawn to this video. So what I got was a couple like power cards, like volcano, volatility, and activation, wind. So kind of like, you know, something's erupting, something's coming through, something's being unearthed in some of us, and then we're being called to action regarding that thing that's been sort of maybe not addressed in the full light of day for some of us until now. With that, I pulled goodbye to the old, hello to the new. This is where that transition feeling comes in. So something's coming through, something's coming up, something powerful, maybe some old emotions, or a real new fresh start in some way, new job, new career, new home, new relationship. Maybe something is really kind of shaking things up for you in your life. And for some of you, this could be just an emotional transition, goodbye to the old, hello to the new. It kind of says here, you've finished one part of your life, and now a new and even better part is beginning. So it's like really transitioning that out. But beside that, I pulled emotional healing, which makes me think that for some of us, this could be an emotional milestone, like maybe resolving some old issues that come through for us, or being ready to address them, being ready to and willing to resolve them. The emotional healing card talks about old and new as well. It says, as your heart heals of old emotional pain, you receive new blessings and love. So kind of with the old and new theme, I feel those kind of go together for us. And then coupled with the volatility and the sort of shaking things up. So there may be some of you that this is very specific for, and this really, really resonates. But on some level, on another level, for some of you, it may just be something more, you know, less intense. Maybe the volcano is just something that came up and out and passed. For some of you, it came up and then it's actually in your experience and you're working through it, you know, physically working through it, or actively working through it. And then the reminder on the tops off those oracles is that nothing is yet set in stone. So this is a good reminder that we're still transitioning through this. Whatever has shifted for us, we're still moving through it. And that's a good thing, because, motion is, moving through things like that is the way to process it and get it behind us, right? Okay, so now I'm going to pull a Zen spread to clarify some of this energy that we're feeling, that is something new coming through, that we either something new or something that's been lying dormant within us that we want to sort of pull out and address kind of once and for all, as far as, our understanding of what's going on. So I'm going to pull this 7-card spread called the Flying Bird. And I'm just going to turn them all upwards so we have a good view of this spread. And then remind us of these oracles here. I just want to make sure I'm getting this on screen properly. Okay, let me see if this works. Okay, yeah, that should be good. You got them all. Okay, so here's our emotional healing. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. That's just to remind us nothing yet is set in stone. And then the volatility, volcano, and the wind. So getting things moving as it pertains to this issue, whether it's our emotional well-being, something from our past, or just this transition that we're going through, whatever it is. If it's a literal transition in your life, changing jobs, changing homes, changing relationships, going to a new level of a relationship, something like that, any kind of a transition, this is going to be these Zen cards here will be the process to get through it. This spread is called the Flying Bird. We have a starting point here. This is kind of like our point of takeoff, a point of flight, where we start, and then we go internally and externally through the responses to this original card. So I like this, because when we get this volatility card, this kind of can be a little bit, not frightening, but a little bit brings up some vulnerabilities, right? When stuff comes up, when stuff is unearthed or explodes up from within us, it could make us feel a little shaky, right? And a little unsure of how to proceed. But what we get to be reminded of is that even if this is uncomfortable, this new change, this new powerful shift that we're experiencing, it's allowing us better clarity. It's bringing the awareness to it. So if this is something that has been held dormant inside of you emotionally, or something that's uncomfortable to address, it's okay in the big picture. Yeah, it's uncomfortable in this moment, but our gratitude for having been able to call attention to it and work through it is our starting point. So I like that, because this is already giving us a forward thinking, or a forward facing energy as it relates to this possibly uncomfortable situation, right? And then being reminded always that the mutable moon kind of tells us nothing is set in stone. It's always in motion. Even this volcano, it erupts, but then it ends up calming down. And later the lava dries out, and it ends up being, becoming part of the earth itself without harming anyone any further. So this eruption, or this sudden shift, whatever it may be for you, is a good thing. It's calling awareness to it so that you can work through it. Okay. Internally within you, you have this sense that, and I'm going to zero in on a couple of you, because it's tying into this emotional healing card. Showing up, giving of yourself, sharing your emotions, sharing your experience, even if it's this uncomfortable, volatile situation, is the way forward. Go ahead and give from your heart. If there isn't anyone else involved, and you don't have to actually speak out and connect with someone physically, this is just still within you, an awareness to tap into what's in your heart, to tap into the core of who you are, and make sure that that is coming through with this awareness card, with this clarity, right? So the deeper emotions, the tenderness that's within you, that's kind of scary when it comes blowing up from deep inside or from deep into your past. It comes, you know, erupting out of yourself. That is still a good thing. You know, she's sharing her gifts from the heart, and it's shining a light on her path forward. And I feel that for some of you, as uncomfortable as it may be, you also are aware how important it is, right? You know that this is my way forward. It's no longer necessary to hold it in or to act as if it's not there, or, you know, not want to address it in case, you know, other people may have some negative responses to it or whatever. This is happening for you. Now, if this is a literal, like goodbye to the old, hello to the new, new job, new home, new something that's physically showing up in your life, then it's just a reminder to stay true to what's in your heart. You know, the decisions that you make surrounding this situation should always align with your truest self, right? Instead of, as opposed to what others might want to see from you. That combination of being called to the awareness of the situation that's coming through that may or may not be uncomfortable for you, and then being able to, as much as possible, align it with what's in your heart, by sharing it out, by staying in touch with what's right for you in your heart, by making sure that your actions match your inner being. That results in a fresh way to see things, a fresh start, right? The Innocence card reminds us that no matter how old we are, no matter how much experience we have, no matter how much knowledge we have, we can still kind of wake up every day acknowledging the wonders of this experience. You know, this little grasshopper that the wise old sage is focusing on, it's as if he's never seen a grasshopper before. He's delighted with the presence of that creature. And this is that fresh eyes, wake up every day, it's a new day, you know, kind of a feeling. So the clarity and the alignment of your heart within results in your ability to see things in a new way, right? And then hopefully address some of this activated, you know, deeper, heavy, maybe denser feelings. Activate it, move it out, because I can handle this now. I'm aligned with my heart, and I can see it clearly, and I can express myself clearly without harm to myself or others. The little triple combination of these energies moves us to the next. So, you know, this spread kind of goes launching pad, response to that externally, and then it goes internal, external, internal, external. And that's kind of the way we read this spread, so that it gives us that balance of inner world, and then how do we show that, how do we let that show up in our life, right? So I like it. I like that so far, that the inner awareness and the inner alignment to this situation, as it relates to this situation, brings us to an awareness and a willingness, actually, to see things and address things in a fresh way. Okay. Then internally, what happens is the barriers start to disappear. The barriers that are within us, between us and our inner being, between our old stories and the way we've always depicted ourselves, between those old stories and what is to come and what is possible, between us and another, literally, between our old career and our new career, whatever that is, these barriers, these bars that are seemingly separating these doves are really an illusion. And so within us, as we start to be able to activate some of this energy that we want to clear, as long as we address it with our whole heart, it begins to, it gives us an opportunity to more and more fully align with the situation within, so that when it comes to how it shows up in our day-to-day life, we have more sort of ammunition, or we have more skills and tools to handle it more smoothly because we're staying aligned within, right? I love it. So yes, so when we start to realize, oh, those things that were keeping me apart, or the things that were keeping me from being able to express this difficult situation, or the thing that was keeping me from being able to move forward in this situation, you know, the goodbye to the old, hello to the new, that was an illusion. That was not something, you know, that I really had to lock into, because as I move through my life and as I align myself more fully within, all that tension or barriers or you know, distance between me and how I want it to be are really just fading away. It all started with the clearing, this sort of unveiling that clarity, kind of pulling the veil back and showing up as our full self. So once we get that, oh, those barriers weren't so solid as I thought, then this is what results in our waking life. We realize we're reaching mastery of this process. Yeah, I have old crap that needs to be unearthed out from within me, or I have an old job that I'm stuck in that I don't want anymore, and I want to shake it up and I want to move on to a new one. I have old energies within me that I want to shake it up and pull it out, you know, let it explode out of me so that I can move on with a fresh slate. All of these steps, inner alignment, fresh eyes, realization that the inner, you know, within, that the barriers are not there, that brings me to a stronger footing spiritually, you know, personally. I get this. I'm getting this. Spirit is guiding me through all of this, even though I'm out here in the world functioning in this old job and I'm out there pounding the pavement trying to find a new one. Or I actually went to my therapist and brought some of this old stuff up, and there's still that spiritual side of you that's working in concert with your persona that shows up in your day-to-day life. And this is what the mastery, this is where the mastery comes in. You're starting to be able to combine the two. You're starting to be able to say, oh yeah, this person that functions in day-to-day world, that has struggles, that has emotional struggles, that is moving through some emotional healing, or that, you know, has old situations that I want to transform. That person that's functioning in the world, dealing with these situations, also has on board this inner being and this inner alignment that is helping to guide me. And if I can make those two work together, yeah, I really got this. This is like, I've got this. Okay. I love how so far in this reading, you know, we have our inner understanding, our inner awareness cards here, but the external cards that were pulled are all major arcana. They're all bigger pivot points in our lives. And this master card is actually the top of the deck. This is like the last card in the deck. And these Roman numeraled cards show more pivot points, you know, big change, big shifts. I got this. I'm going to see things differently, and I'm really going to stay aligned, and then I'm really going to get it, right? So I love that so far. Then you start to realize, oh, I'm stronger in this than I realized. I have more power if I keep my inner self aligned with my true, you know, with the truest part of me, with my heart. If I stay aligned, I've got more power to take action in my waking life. And then internally, you reach sort of the apex of that understanding, of that wisdom. This maturity card is wisdom. It's, oh, you know what? I started out with the veil over my eyes. I'm not able to see things clearly. But once I had this willingness to unearth some old stuff and let it kind of move up and out and through me, and so that I can do away with it, it gives me more clarity. Once that step happens, you're on your way to this realization of your true wisdom. And then you reach this point where within your inner being, look how beautifully calm and rested this figure is, just knowing that everything is well, right? The flowers, the rainbows, the beauty of the world within. This is all your internal being. but knowing, yeah, some things are hard, but I got it. I got it. I'm good. I'm staying true to myself within. I'm keeping that awareness right in line with everything that is, you know, my deepest inner truth. And that's what's guiding me. And I know that truth won't fail me. Okay. And then the outcome, or the final outcome, the final outer card here in your external world, is the friendliness card. And this is where we get to see the alignment, the full sort of autonomy of our inner being and our outer being, or ourselves as it relates to our work, or ourselves as it relates to another. You know, we just get to realize that no matter what, the truest way that we, you know, that our truest part of ourself can stay rooted and aligned and strong, even if we're dealing with other outer influences, even if we've got, you know, a partner that may be at cross purposes with our current, you know, our current situation, or if we have, you know, the old job and we've got the new job that we want to achieve and capture, we can still remain our truest self, that inner alignment that we talked about. We can remain as we are and deal with any disruptions or upsets or eruptions that come through in our life in the most authentic way. It doesn't mean we're not going to go through heartache. It doesn't mean we're not going to have moments of upset, or that things are going to be difficult. We're going to have moments of vulnerability. That doesn't mean, because that is part of the human experience, but it does mean that if we keep that spiritual side of us on board, you know, integrate the two, you know, continue with the mastery of our inner being and the person that shows up in our life, and keeping that working in concert, right? Working in this sort of friendly, we would just call it friendly way. You know, I can have my past upsets as part of my experience and still be okay, and still be as strong as, you know, rooted into who I am as I want. It does not have to take me down, right? Like these two trees, if one of them ends up getting blown over by the wind, it's not going to yank the other one down. The other one, you know, they're both rooted solidly in their own position. So yeah, stuff's going to come along and kind of shake our leaves and blow them away and keep us bare branched at some point, but we are still rooted firmly in who we are. And we have this internal support of that wisdom that we've just tapped into, that we've just called awareness to. So I like this. And then the one message to remember is nothing is set in stone. So as we progress through this spread, as we move through whatever situation this is, it's a constant back and forth of keep the internal alignment, keep my internal awareness alive, and then show up in the world with that. You know, it's not so much this sort of aggressive outpouring. I know who I am and I can do it. Doesn't have to be that. There's this quiet, that's what this is, a quiet wisdom, you know. And these cards too, the mastery and the innocence, there's a quiet certainty energy that comes with this, that we can move into, that we can shift into, so that things aren't taking us off our center, right? We don't have to get uprooted to go when we go through things. Like I said, it doesn't mean things aren't going to be difficult here and there. We have challenges in our lives. That's part of our human experience, but we can move through just about anything. As long as our connection to our inner being and connection to spirit stays firm, we can move through things with minimal upset, with minimal destruction, right, of our inner world. Keep it strong. Keep it, keep the knowledge of who you are and where you've come from and where you want to head. Keep that knowledge strong and intact, and you should be just fine. Okay. All right. That's it for now. I want to invite you guys to show up, come to my website and sign up for the newsletter. I'm getting ready to start staying in touch with people in writing, and maybe posting a little video here and there in a sort of an e-newsletter. And then there's some events and stuff coming up. So go to my site, groundeddreamers.com, subscribe to my channel here. All the ways that you could stay in touch with me are great. And I'm going to be doing some individual readings by astro sign within the next week. I'm going to start rolling those through. Maybe I'll just go forward for May, and then we can see what the energies are there. But I do want to start posting more extensive readings for each sign. I just couldn't do it between January and now because of the way that tax season goes for me. It gets a little bit hectic, but that is my intention. And I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you. Have a good rest of the weekend, but it's probably going to be over by the time you see this. Okay, bye.